discounted or cheaply at discounted rates.
Beautiful idea. If racketeering does not come into it,
Yeah.
but how sustainable is that? And for how long are they going to continue to do this? There was a way Nigerians were living their lives now before something was removed, before the Naira was floated. For us to now be in this crisis. So for how long is the government going to do this? And what are they doing to make people go back to their normal life so that they don't wait for government to feed their family? You don't understand what I'm saying. Nigerians don't want people to come and give them. We are not paupers. We are not beggars. So government is supposed to reduce people to beggars. And Sandra, I am saying it, and I'll repeat it again. If you have gotten to the point where you are so impoverished, to the point where you need to wait for government to give you rice and beans to feed your family, when you get that rice from government, Sandra, you will not have the money to buy gas to cook the rice. Okay, so are they going to be giving families gas now?
Which gas?
1 kg of gas is how much, Sandra?
1.4. Is it the same one? Okay, wait. Let's not go deep into that. All right, let's now also look at Ogun State. Ogun State has purchased 100 truckloads of rice to be sold at cheaper rates to residents of the state to cushion the effects of the rise of prices of goods in
everybody that gets the rice in Ogun State, good luck to them. 100 truckloads of rice. Where is the rice? So is this imported rice or locally made rice? Sandra, where are these rice coming from? Every company is buying rice now. Where are the rice coming from?
Question. Where is it? Look, that's a very good question, Fuad.
You don't understand?
Yes, I mean, where are we get? Is it imported rice? How much is?
Oh, it's all right.
It's all right.
So we should ask our governors. Everybody is buying rice now. 100 truckloads, 200 truckloads, 50 truckloads.
Well, they said the poor, the elderly, and the vulnerable will enjoy free allocation of the rice, so they get the rice for free. I'm not concerned with how many kg of rice. Is it a whole bag? Is it half bag or quarter bag?
So, and then the question I have to ask is that would they be giving people every day?
That's why I'm asking. Is it one whole bag so that we know that okay, how long is that supposed to take them for? Is it quarter bag?
And then when you collect the rice, they will give you gas to cook it.
Maybe they want us to go back to firewood and co. I don't know.
No, Sandra, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this was what we were saying when they were all saying, the governors were all saying, it's the way they corner us into believing this their false narrative. Oh, subsidy has to go. Oh, there are some people making money from subsidy. Oh, this is not benefiting the poor. Okay, the subsidy removal now, how is it benefiting the poor now? Subsidy in itself, according to them, was not benefiting the poor. Just a few people were benefiting from subsidy. Now that they remove subsidy, how is it benefiting the poor now?
All right, then, what we have here from Ogun State Governor is we have decided that the poor, the elderly, and the vulnerable will be given the rice free of charge, while others will have to buy the rice at the price we formerly bought it before the dollar rose very high. So it won't be one-off, and we can continue till the issue of the dollar is settled. We don't know when that will be, but...
When would that be? When would the issue of the dollar be settled?
We don't know. He said hopefully soon. That's what he said, and I'm quoting him.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you the conspiracy of the political class now. From the situation we have, and they can argue it. They can continue to deceive themselves about it. I'm not one of those people that they will deceive. The political class is so happy about this situation, Sandra. And I say it with no sense of responsibility. Do you know why?
Why?
The more impoverished people are, the more vulnerable they are to electoral manipulation. You don't understand what I'm saying. The more poor people are, the more impoverished they are. The more vulnerable they are to electoral manipulation, to vote buying, and all manner of things. To keep these people perpetually in power. You can't rush to fight for your rights when you are very poor, when you don't have what to eat. So we are getting to the area where there used to be a time among the political class. There's a slogan, Tğᴇ Sebe. You don't understand, Sandra. You vote and they give you 2,000 to go and cook.
I think that's all I can take from this particular report. Thank you very much. Palliative Palaver, Governor Takola Kwabio deny receiving federal government 1 trillion naira lifeline. The story is on pages 2, 6, 16, and 31 of the Punch newspaper. You're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's 10 minutes past 8. can't believe you've just been looking at one story, but I mean, of course, it has to do with everyone and anyone that is in Nigeria that is going through one thing or the other. There's also a report in this from that. There's a story from that report. Food truck looted in Niger State. That's how bad it is getting now. People are, business owners are now losing, their commodities or their wares.
Governments are better giving their rice trucks food security when they are bringing in those rice trucks. That food security on it. People will loot. And also the warehouses, they will keep the rice.
Federal government plans to ban cooking gas. Plans exports of cooking gas. Yes, exportation of cooking gas. And that is on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Just very, very quickly forward. The federal government is to stop the exportation of liquefied petroleum gas, or popularly known as cooking gas, in a bid to increase its volume domestically so as to warrant a crash in the price. What do you think?
A good one. Anything that the government can do now to make life better for the people is a welcome development. So, because again, it is too tough for a lot of Nigerians to bear. 1 kg of cooking gas at 1,400. That's too much, Sandra. That used to be, I think, about maybe 300, 400 per kg.
Yes, 350, 400.
So whatever they can do to crash that, yes, crash it completely.
All right, then.
It'll be a good one for the people.
Stories on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. I also have here, Ibadan Disco disconnects UCH. Over 500 million naira debt.
That's the hospital.
That's risky. I believe what? Are there no people hooked up to oxygens and co? People doing surgeries and co in the hospital?
That's what I'm saying now. That's a hospital, and but again,
I also look at it from the angle of things probably now get even more expensive for the families of people who have people there, because now UCH may have to operate on diesel. And
they will ration it maybe for some few hours.
For a few hours. So I don't know. And there are other ways that way they can recoup their money.
That's what we're saying, Sandra. If you really want to touch the lives of the people, you can use the health sector. All these teaching hospitals, renovate them, put them to standard, and ensure that people get affordable and quality health care. We are talking about UCH now. Go to look at the condition of that hospital, Sandra, here in Lagos. That's also another teaching hospital.
There's no
look, they say they've shut down some wards because there are even no doctors to attend to people. There are no enough nurses to attend to people.
Brain drain.
So apart from that, you have poor facility. You have the environment is not too conducive. A few times I've gone to that hospital, you know that look, it's a shadow of its old self. I'm not too young to know the glory days of teaching hospitals in the country, at least a hospital like Luke. But now you go there, it's a complete shadow of itself. The same thing with UCH in Ibadan, all that, So you can't have a situation where government is now making all of these monies and then they are now disconnecting power supply to teaching hospitals. It's unfortunate. And what we are saying is that instead of this rice and beans, this idea of rice and beans, this palliative, maybe we should look at free and qualitative healthcare for the people. And I purposely say qualitative when I say this in Sandra. If you really think, okay, all of the monies we've been making, you are trying to touch the people, can you get to renovate and improve on those health facilities and ensure that people that go there, because the rich guys do not go to this hospital, Sandra. They have a way they go to all these big hospitals or they get out of hospital. They will not go to those hospitals. They won't go. So it is the poor people, you and I, that go to those hospitals. So get those hospitals renovated and upgraded to standard and ensure that the service is free and qualitative.
All right.
And then the same thing for schools. We can begin to look at free and qualitative education for Nigerians. The Minister of Education was saying on TV yesterday that they are still reworking the autonomy for universities. That's why IPPIs is still being operated. This autonomy is Sandra. Nigerians should brace up. Tuition will skyrocket. That's again the plan of government. So instead, we are looking at sharing rice and beans, all these soup market, what do you call it?
Soup kitchen, Fuad. Soup kitchen. Thank you very much. It's okay. Well, that's
we'll wait to see the soup kitchen come up because I'd like to see what's happening there. We'll follow up with the soup kitchen.
Of course.
I like that part of it. Soup kitchen.
And collect food. I'm very particular about the amala beside us here. I'm very, very particular about it.
That one is expensive. The average meal in that joint You have to have like 2K to eat proper meal.
There's no 100 naira wrap of amala again.
Then what will be the quality of food in the soup kitchen standard?
They said they will select the good soup kitchens.
So they are still thinking about it, or is there a model already? Okay, they've identified caterer.
Federal government plans cooking gas export ban to crash price. Stories on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. There's a lot of political stories here, but I'll leave it for Said Fuad for political roundtable on Sunday.
No, let's take it over.
No. There's a lot for discuss because apparently PDP also now has parallel primaries. And there's Philip Shuaibu winning one. There's Ighodalo winning another. And
our politicians are wonderful.
It's just an interesting.
As at this morning, we don't know what the PC has come up with their rerun.
With their inconclusive.
No, they started all over.
Yes, there's a. Is it once they
you say inconclusive, you start from where you stop. This one they started afresh.
Question yesterday said that is it all three that are going to rerun, or is it one rerun or rerun for all the three factions? What exactly are we going to have? We don't know.
Well, as at 11 o'clock yesterday, the report was that they were still counting the results.
Okay, but we don't have anything yet.
At least from the papers. Well, we have guys on ground. We'll try and see if there's any report that will come.
Why are they still counting? I don't know how big is Edo State. Why are they still counting?
So it's direct primaries. They did direct, unlike PDP that did delegates. It's more like indirect. And if you look at the results of after Ighodalo from the one he won, Philip Shuaibu got 1 vote. Other people got 0 votes. Ighodalo got, I think, 577. Sandra. In a keenly contested primary of the PDP in Edo State, one person got 577. The deputy governor, Philip Shuaibu, got 1 vote. And then others 0.
What? Anything can happen. Did you not see the numbers from Imo State elections? I don't see anything. Our politicians they're magicians.
Our politicians are wonderful people. They're amazing. They are just amazing.
17 minutes past 8, and you're all still listening to Midland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers on the Morning Express. I'm moving on now to the Guardian newspaper, and the major headline on the front page of the Guardian: 15 years of insurgency, tales of woe for survivors, joy for repentant terrorists. I have a problem with repentant that phrase. I have a problem with it. I don't know.
How did we even come up with repentant terrorists?
Repentant terrorists. I don't know, but I just have a problem. Every time I hear it or read it, it just makes me a little bit miffed. But what we have here now is it's very detailed as usual, as expected from the Guardian. Total number of IDPs now 3.6 million people, and this is just out of 2.65 million IDPs in Northeast. And we have about over 450,000 households, over 2 million individuals, with what we have here with women, of course, between men and women having the highest number. Number of people killed by terrorists, about 35,000. Number of released repentant terrorists, about 4,000. Number of de-radicalized and released into society in Borno State, that's between 2016 and 2022, is almost 1,935. Another 594 were recently set free by the Nigerian Army under Operation Safe Corridor, which brings the total to about 4,000 thereabout. So we also have another 1,500 graduated from Malam Sidi camp in Gombe State. So the story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. As it says here, it's been almost 15 years since the emergence of terrorism in the northeast of Nigeria. The advent of Boko Haram, a militant Islamist terrorist group in July 2009, has led to the death of an estimated 35,000 people and displaced thousands from their ancestral homes. And since then, other terrorist groups like ISWAP, Islamic State West Africa Province, have also emerged, waging war against the Nigerian state. And so, while IDPs across camps in Nigeria live in indescribable distress, arrested terrorists said to have repented are being treated kingly. I don't know if you remember the one video of where they wore white, they gave them fine white clothes, Ashwebi. They were in a plane, and the plane took them, they gave them breakfast, they had dinner or lunch or whatever, I think with the state governor at that time. It just, and I don't know. And that's why I have a problem, with repentant terrorists. Like, how do you know this person is repentant?
Who profiles them?
Yes. How do you de-radicalize a terrorist and then bring them back into society where there are people who have been traumatized by their actions, and then you have thousands of millions of displaced people now because of the actions of these people.
Yeah, you have people who have lost loved ones. You have communities who are deserted as a result of some of these activities.
The IDP camps are nothing to write home. They have nothing. There's not. I don't think there's even attention being paid to the IDP camps.
The stories we are getting from some of the IDP camps, Sandra, you shake your head. So why people are still living, from the negative consequences, of the activities of these terrorists. They are getting VIP treatments. They're getting, being treated as if,
they went to war, they won the war, and they came back.
As if they are victors, who went to war and then won for the country, and then they are receiving accolades. And I'm worried as to our commitment to really fighting this cause of terrorism and extremism, if you understand what I'm saying. Because again, you still see governors, you still see political leaders who keep talking about non-kinetic and kinetic means of solving this problem and all of that. I believe that, look, a lot of these guys pretend to be, repentant because they were overpowered. And then they surrender, and then, of course, that's the reason why, because again, consequence management is a problem in the country, standard. We don't ensure people face the consequence of their action. We don't punish people, no punitive measures. So in consequence management, we are heavily lacking. And that's why people do whatever they like. Because they know that there are really no consequences for anything. So again, it's left for the government if they think this is the right thing to do. But there are questions as to this idea of, repentant terrorists. Who is profiling them? How do you radicalize them? Do we even have the structure to properly de-radicalize these guys? And then after de-radicalization, how do you integrate them properly to the society so that they don't go back to what they were doing? This is also to be sustainable and long term. So, but again, those are some of the things that, we hear about that shock some of us. But it is what it is. What do we do about it?
Well, as a lot of IDPs are living in overcrowded and mostly unsanitized camps across the country where there's little or no access to the basic necessities of life. They lack adequate and nutritious food. There's no shelter, no clothes. They do not have access to healthcare, clean water. And a lot of these people, you see some of these victims are suffering from neglect, lack, sickness and death. Unborn babies or even newborn die to lack of proper care and access to health facilities. So it's just to put it out there that this issue of, repentant terrorists and their reintegration, the moral aspect of it, I'm trying to, have an understanding of it. Of course, yes, they're humans as well, but I don't know. There's a lot to take away from this. You can get it from pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here fresh worries for Naira as FARC shares 1.1 trillion Naira to federal government, states and local government areas. And the story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. So very, very quickly, just a minute or two, we have riders here. We have riders here. Federation revenue rises to 2 trillion Naira. Probe currency crash after every FARC meeting. Arewa Economic Forum tells Tinubu. Sage Olawekpo Hashim asked Tinubu to dump float of Naira. Federal government benefiting from dollar rise against Naira, Ndume alleges. Be patient. We are working on economy without rest, CBN governor assures. There's a lot to take away from this one. Let's start with the fact that amid the worsening economic situation, especially occasioned by the galloping inflation, the Federation revenue rose to about 2 trillion Naira in January, out of which FARC yesterday have shared 1.1 trillion Naira to the federal, states and local governments. And this was contained in a communique issued at the end of the FARC meeting in Abuja. And the communique indicated that from the 1.1 trillion total distributable revenue, the federal government received 407 billion. The 36 states combined received 379 billion, while the 774 local government councils received 275 billion. That's There's also the derivation revenue, but there's also what we have in our excess crude account has been stagnant for the past 2 years. Anyways, that's another conversation, but let's put that aside. Has been stagnant, but it's still at about 473 thousand.
Billion.
Yes, 400. Eh?
$1,000.
Say billion. $1,000. $473,000. So I don't know. Should we start with? Okay, I think it's been established already that the federation revenue has risen in recent times, especially due to the fact that the federal government claims that there has been a lot of savings from the removal of. We'd like to take the riders one after the other. Okay, then let's start with federation revenue rises to 2 trillion. Very quickly, Fuad, we don't have so much time.
Yeah, well, again, the policy of the government working well in terms of making more money for government. It's inconsistent. So I think the policies are working. Whatever is happening with the oil sector, subsidy removal, the aggressive revenue drive with tariffs, taxes, duties, import duties, and all of that. There's a breakdown, but again, we can't go into all of that because of time. How these monies have been made. Even for internet transfer. Bank transfer standard. The government made good money, about 50-something billion. So when you do an online transfer, there are monies that go to government. So they've been able to aggregate all of that, and good monies are coming for government. That's just what that rider is about.
Okay. All right then. So let's move on to probing of currency crash after every FAC meeting. After every FAC meeting. Arewa Economic Forum is asking President.
What did you say? So that they don't always say it.
It's okay. So Arewa Economic Forum has asked President Tinubu to take necessary steps to arrest the free fall of the naira at the forex market. The chairman of
anytime you share FAC allocation, all right.
The chairman of the forum, Ibrahim Dan Dakata, urged the president to investigate the reason for the increase of dollar prices after every monthly FAC meeting. He called on the government to ban the practice of keeping dollars at home or in offices and to clamp down on all hoarders of dollars. He also urged relevant government agencies to ban the practice of paying for goods and services online in dollars. He said, and I quote, "We are of the opinion that the federal government must summon adequate political will to arrest the free fall of the naira compared to the rising dollar. Dollar is not a legal tender in Nigeria. The government should therefore ban the practice of keeping dollars at home or in offices and clamp down on all holders of dollars. The government should also investigate why dollar goes up after every FAC meeting."
Who are the people that get the FAC allocation? The government.
The government.
So I think the Iowa Economic Forum has said it all. We've said some of these things too, so they are not really saying anything new. That look, our politicians, we saw it in the last election, Sandra. Remember how most of the party primary was heavily dollarized. And consistently we've seen it. Even during the general elections when naira was scarce, we had politicians who were practically sharing dollars to people. And the information we're getting, though difficult to confirm some of these things, is that look, when these FAC allocations come, a sizable portion of their FAC allocations, especially the governors, and I assume other politicians too, immediately convert them to dollars. So they mop up what we said is cash. And then we have this cash. So that's what the Arewa people are telling the president. We're hoping that they will have the political will to do the right thing as far as this one is concerned. It requires the political will to do it. And that's why we keep saying that, look, stop chasing shadow. You know where the problem is. Solve the problem.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Isse Sage, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has called on President Tinubu to urgently stop the floating of the naira as a way of addressing the economic challenges in the country. As we all know, dollar is at about 1,900 at this time. But then, there's still a lot I would love to take from this report. Unfortunately, we have run out of time because we also need to look at what, Mr. Ndume is saying when he's saying that the federal government is benefiting from dollar rise against the naira. That's what
sorry. We will come out from the break. We can look at that.
I don't know. I hopefully. But then we also have here, be patient. We are working on economy against. Oh no, we're working on economy without rest. CBN governor assures. That's it. That's all we can take from the Guardian newspaper. I also have here Tinubu take steps to avert planned protest. Aᴏɪᴜ tells Tinubu, Labour and others. And that's still from the Guardian newspaper. We also have here Senate and Reps pass Southeast Development Commission bill. You can take that on page 24 of yes. We also have here 3 months after military yet to release panel report on aero drone. That's on page 3 of the Guardian. The Vanguard also has quite some interesting stories. The major headline there is how Nigeria can overcome insecurity, and that is coming from retired generals, retired GIGs, security experts. Of course, they would know, but then it says here as riders, there's need for teamwork among government, security agencies, and the citizens, so everybody has a part to play. Blame corruption for worsening insecurity. Call for state police, investment in intelligence gathering. Train, equip, and pay police officers and other security agents well. Track down political leaders backing criminals. That's on page 5. Very interesting one. Very interesting read. You may want to look that up. It's a Vanguard newspaper. Yes, we also have here CDS warns against calls for coup over economic hardship. That's Chief of Defense Staff. And that story is on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. Abure has been released after 12 hours in police custody. And that's on page 4. That's as regards Labour Party. Interesting day.
We don't even know what has happened to the Labour Party family in those things. I've been trying to get reports.
Honestly.
Yes, now.
As regards politics, I just want to sit back, relax, and not have to think at all. I don't.
I eat your amala.
I need my amala from soup kitchen.
You are still hopeful about the soup kitchen.
Do you think they will serve ogufe in the soup kitchen, or is it just
soup kitchen? No, how much they sell? How a portion of ogufe how much do they sell?
It's 700 naira.
So you want that to be in the soup kitchen?
I don't know.
Ogufe in soup kitchen.
Let's not, vulnerable
if you
people
get pala, just count your stars.
Vulnerable people are not they are not choosy. Whatever.
You know what they call pala, or they call it oshukeku. You know oshukeku.
Oshukeku.
That's what you get in the soup kitchen or egg.
Thank you very much, Said Fuad. We'll take a short break now. We're back for Midland Focus. Thank you for joining us. You're of course amazing. The Morning Express continues with Midland Focus by 8:40. We'll take a break now. Don't forget that on Midland Focus is the part where you, our dear listener, you get to join the conversation and share your 1 or 2 cents.